story time on how I had my daughter Chatham. So last year, 2024, January 11th, I turned 17. I was a party animal, you know? Well, in February, all the partying really stopped. I just hung out with like my older brother and his friends, you know, no big deal. Well, practically, I remembered like prior to me and my brother beefing all the time because, you know, older siblings, he told me that none of his friends would get with me and all of his friends were off limits. So I was living in Madison at the time, and I had started talking to one of his very close friends. I'm not gonna say his name because, you know, it doesn't matter. And we practically just talked every day. We ended up getting super close. So there was this shop where me, my older brother, and a bunch of his older friends would just hang out. Mind you, the guy that I was talking to was 19 and I am 17 at the time. So practically we would hang out at this shop. Sometimes it was just like the four of us, sometimes it was more. It all depends. We would listen to music and like get twisted tea and stuff, you know? Although I hate drinking twisted tea, so I personally never drink. Well, I ended up going back home to Madison, you know, and we kind of confessed our feelings for each other. So he started coming up to Madison and bringing me back to Janesville so we could all hang out, and we ended up staying at his grandma's camper. A camper, yeah. Then we realized that the camper wasn't gonna like, just no. I couldn't just stay in a camper, you know? So we ended up hitting up one of our mutual friends. I'm not gonna say their names, but love them. And we ended up moving in their extra spare bedroom. This was about March, I wanna say. And then I was working 2 jobs. No, I wasn't, I lied. I was working at Dairy Queen at the time. So yeah, practically I got pregnant in April of 2024, around April 14th, not that it matters. And then I ended up telling her dad, which is the guy, my brother's best friend. And then, yeah. So I'm pregnant. I had my first appointment in June, or May, not June, May. And everything was fine, blah, blah. Fast forward, me and her dad didn't end up working out in about June. I ended up going back to school because I dropped out my junior year. I did the correct thing by going back to school. He got mad because I was walking with a guy to school at 6 a.m. like in the morning when it was still dark. Like this was in summer, for summer school, at 6 a.m. Or maybe it was 7 a.m. I think it was 7. And he got mad because I didn't want to walk alone pregnant. It was like a 3-mile walk. So, and he refused to drive me. So in about a couple weeks, so the end of June, we ended up breaking up. We ended up just cutting things off. And I got kicked out of the people's place that I was staying at. Mind you, still pregnant. So I moved into my best friend's house. Love her. Thanks for letting me sleep on your futon for however months. I think it was 6. I think I slept in the living room for 6 months while pregnant, so. I kept going to appointments alone. I know in July, I got extremely sick. I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't hold anything down, and I hit a very bad depression state where I laid on the futon for at least 2 to 3 days and just didn't move. I didn't get up to use the restroom. I didn't eat. I didn't drink anything. I just laid there and slept. Well, due to me being pregnant, I ended up going to the ER and I was like practically dying. I was extremely just, yeah, like I was not getting the proper nutrients and I couldn't hold anything down. So my brother took me up there and we were trying to get a hold of her dad to let him know what was going on and everything. Well, he didn't answer, and we later found out that he was out driving with other females and drinking. So to sum it all up, he was drinking and not at the hospital with me while I was dying. Fast forward me doing my pregnancy practically by myself. There was just no. I went to appointments by myself. He knew about them. He chose not to come. He didn't end up coming to the baby shower or the gender reveal. So that's when I kind of knew that this just wasn't gonna work. I just hated him. I started to literally dread that man so much. There was rumors going around that he had gotten another girl pregnant and that our baby wasn't his and that I cheated on him, and a bunch of other rumors that just weren't true at all. In October of 2024, I ended up moving to Iowa to be with my mom, and I kept him updated with everything, literally just everything, how everything was going, even though I shouldn't have. My dog ended up having puppies in November of 2024. She had 10, so I was about 8 months pregnant, taking care of 10 puppies all by myself. So fast forward to when she was born. She was born January 17th. He knew of the due date, and when I was being induced, he was given the addresses and the time. He chose not to come. And yes, it may be 3 hours, but he chose not to come when he knew in advance. He knew in advance and he didn't come. So the first 4 months I was taking care of her by myself. He chose not to come see her. He would make up excuses and all this other stuff. And then June of this year, for the first time, he met her finally. He finally met his daughter. It was for like 10 minutes at a random park. 5 months old, mind you. Fast forward, he met her again for the second time when she was 7 months. So I think 2 months ago. So in August, he met her for the second time. Brought a bunch of his family, and she literally cried the entire time. She cried. So later on, I asked him, how does he think it went? And he goes, well, I don't know how to interact with her. I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that, but I think it went pretty well. And I simply said she cried the entire time. His response, well, yeah, she's gonna do that. No shit, she's gonna do that. Like, she doesn't know you. You chose not to be there. And now we have court in October, or actually this month, on the 21st. So, let me know if y'all want an update, because that's the crazy story of how I got pregnant and how I met my baby daddy. It's bizarre. Horrible. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching.